So this video is going to cover the revision booklet 1B in the higher tier, and this video is going to cover the percentages section. So we've got question 8 in the booklet, which is find 240 as a percentage of 600, and that's as simple as dividing the two numbers. So 240 divided by 600 is going to be 0.4. So 0.4 as a percentage then is going to be 40%. So 240 is 40% of 600. Question B then is, in an examination a pupil scores 165 out of a total of 300 marks. What is the percentage of this? So we'd have 165 out of 300, where we know 1% would be 3, and then we divide 165 by 3, and that's what percentage we have. So that's going to be 0, 1, 5 down, carry the 1, 5. So 55%. So the pupil got 55% in the examination. So question 10 is, William scores 45 out of 50 in an English test. Express this as a percentage. So William scored 45 out of 50. And we know the percentage is out of 100. So if we just double the denominator, we'd get 100. So we've got to double the numerator, which would be 90 to tell us the actual percentage. So William got 90% in the English test. In a quiz, a team scores 13 out of 20. Express this as a percentage. Same again. It's going to be 13 out of 20. We know percentage is out of 100, so we multiply by 5 to get the denominator to 100. So we multiply the numerator by 5 to make that, to find the percentage. So 13 times 5, 10 times 5 is 50, 3 times 5 is 15, so it's going to be 65 out of 100, which is 65%. Sasha scores 45 out of 150 in an English test. Express this as a percentage. So 45 out of 150. There's a couple of ways to do this, as the other questions. I would say that I know that 10% is 15 marks. So how many 15s go into 45? Well, that's 3. So another person, Sasha, got 30% in the English. Question 14. The cost of a weekly travel ticket increases from £12 to £15. Find the percentage increase in the cost of this weekly travel ticket. So we are going from £12 to £15. So the increase, we're finding the percentage increase as well. So the monetary increase is £3. So we've got to find £3 as a percentage of 12, which is just a quarter. So it's 25% increase. So the approximate population of Wales in question 15, date 1801. The number of people was 600,000, and in 1851 the population was 1,200,000. Calculate the percentage increase in the population of Wales from 1801 to 1851. So we are going from 600,000 to 1,200,000. So the increase is 600,000 people, and we've got to find that increase as a percentage of the original number. So 600,000 as a percentage of 600,000, which is actually 100%. So there was a 100% increase in population. Which of the following fractions is closest to 1/4? 13/20ths, 2/5, or 3/10ths? What I would do is I'd make them all the same denominator and we could figure it out from there. So we've got 13/20ths, 2/5, and 3/10. I think it's good just to put the actual question as well, which is 1/4. So to make them all the same denominator, we have to find a common denominator, a common multiple in all four of these numbers. So we've got 20, 5, 10, and 4 as the denominators. So the common multiple would be 20. So we have to make all of these out of 20. So this will stay the same as 13 out of 20. 2/5 would change to 8/20ths. 3/10 would change to 6/20ths. And 1/4 would change to 5/20ths. So the fraction closest to 5/20ths would be 6/20ths, because this is 1/20th away, this is 3/20ths away, and this is obviously 8/20ths away. So 6/20ths is the closest fraction, which is actually 3/10 in the question. So 3/10 is the closest fraction. So question 18 is, which of the following fractions is closer to 2/5? 7/20ths, 1/4, or 7/15ths. And what I would do is make them all the same denominator so we can work it out from there. So we've got 7/20ths, 1/4, 7/15ths, and 2/5. So we have to find a common multiple in all four of these numbers. They obviously don't necessarily have to be the lowest common multiple, but it would help if they were the lowest common multiple. So this would be 30. The closest one I can see is 60, so we have to make all of them out of 60. So to change this denominator to 60, we have to multiply by 3, so that's going to be 21. To change 4 to 60, we have to multiply by 15, so that's going to be 15 out of 60. To change 15 to 60, we have to multiply by 4, so that's going to be 28 out of 60. And to change this to 60, we have to multiply by 12. So 2 times 12 is 24. And this is the fraction we're actually working with. This is the one we're looking for, which is the closest. So this one is 4/60ths away. This is 9/60ths away, and this is 3/60ths away. So this fraction is the closest one. So 7/20ths is the closest fraction to 2/5 out of those three. So question 19 is asking, which of the following fractions is a recurrent decimal? 3/4, 2/5, 7/11, or 3/20ths? And what I would do is I'd work each of these out as a decimal, and then obviously the recurrent decimal is the recurrent decimal. So we know 3/4 is 0.75. We should know that 2/5 is 0.4. 7/11 we have to work that out ourselves. So 7/11 we would divide 7 by 11. So 11 doesn't go into 7. And it leaves a 7 remainder. 11 goes into 76 times and it leaves a 4 remainder. 11 goes into 40 3 times and leaves a 7 remainder, which goes back into and 11 goes into 76 times and leaves a 4 remainder again, which goes into it 3 times, and we've got a pattern, we've got a repetition, which means 7/11 is a recurrent decimal because it's 0.75 6, 3, and the 6 and the 3 are recurring. So 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3. We didn't even have to work out 3/20, which would be 0.15 anyway. Question 20 is circle your answer in each of the following. The value of 2 to the power of minus 3 as a fraction in its simplest form, and 2/9 as a recurring decimal is. So we'll focus on 2 to the power of minus 3 first. So two to the power of minus 3. So 2 to the power of minus 3 is simply 1 over 2 to the power of 3, which is 1 over 2 times 2 times 2, which is 1 over 8. So 1 over 8 would be the answer to this one. And then the next one is 2/9 is a recurring decimal. So we would just do 9, 2. So 2 divided by 9. And then whatever the answer is obviously the decimal. So 9 doesn't go into 2, leaves a 2 remainder. 9 goes into 2 twice and leaves a 2 remainder, which obviously goes into that twice and leaves a 2 remainder. So it's going to be 0.22222, which is going to be this one here. So that's the answer for 2/9. So question 21 is evaluate 3 1/3 times by 1 1/5. So 3 1/3 times by 1 1/5. And what I would do is I'd convert these to top heavy fractions and then multiply the fractions together. So 3 1/3 is 10/3, because 1 whole is 3/3, 3/3 is going to be 9/3, plus obviously the 1/3 is going to be 10/3, times by 1 1/5 is 6/5. Timesing them together, then we're going to get 10 times 6, which is 60, and then 3 times 5, which is 15, and 60 over 15 is actually just 4. So question 22 is evaluate 1 1/3 times by 2 3/4. Same again, I would just make them fractions. So that's going to be 4/3 times by 11/4. So it's going to be 44 out of 12. And they've asked for in the simplest form, which is I can half them both, which will make that 22 over 6. I can half that again, which will make them 11 over 3 as a fraction. So that's in its simplest form, because I've cancelled down the fractions. Question 23 is a price of £63 includes VAT at a rate of 5%. What is the price before VAT was added? So we've got £63 represents the price of the product plus 5%, and we want to know the price of the product. So if you've got a price of the product and an extra 5%, we've got 105%. So £63 actually represents 105%. Now what we would do to work this out, as we want to find 100%. So what we would do, we'd have to divide by 105, and that would leave us with 0.6 equals 1%. So 0.6 is 1%, and then we've got times by 100, which will leave us with 100%. So 100% will be 60. So the answer is £60. We can't just divide by 100, because if we divide by 100 we only get 1.05%, not 1% here. That's where a lot of people go wrong in that question.